Good morning, greetings, friends, and welcome to The Bright Side, your nutritional program dedicated to the understanding of the vast world of nutrition and nutritional supplementation. I'm your host, Pharmacist Ben, nutritional pharmacist from Boulder, Colorado. I use nutritional supplements where other healthcare practitioners use toxic pharmaceutical drugs and sometimes deadly medical procedures. If you suspect that there are natural nutritional roads to your health and vitality and well-being and to addressing your health challenges, whatever they may be, but you don't know where to begin, you have come to the right place. As you listen to The Bright Side every day, you are more and more in control of your body, you are more and more knowledgeable, and you know you can overcome any health challenge. That is why we are here every day on The Bright Side, helping clear up the sometimes confusing world of nutrition and nutritional supplementation. Over the last 33 years of practicing pharmacy, I've seen drug-free recoveries from diabetes, hypertension, obesity, skin diseases like acne, psoriasis, eczema, rosacea, digestive ailments, autoimmune issues of all kinds. Recoveries that by the standards of modern medicine can only be called a miracle. But what is in the world of the body, what is in the world of biology, standard operating procedure, because the human biological system it's a healing system. It's a regenerating system. It is designed divinely to heal and renew itself on a moment-to-moment basis. And while some folks may call that a miracle, it really is just the way the body works. If you have questions about health, nutrition, prescription drugs, if you want to wean yourself off your meds and get on a good nutritional supplement program, we are here for you. 844-236-6010 is our number, 844-236-6010. If you have questions about the longevity products or business, or if you have a success story you'd like to share, or if you just want to contribute to the conversation, 844-236-6010 is our number. On the Bright Side, if you want to purchase longevity products, go to brightsideben.com, pharmacistben.com, or criticalhealthnews.com, or you can call 866-735-2470 if you want to speak to a real live person. If you want to check out our Truth Skin Health products, they're all up at truthtreatments.com. We've got a couple specials running at truthtreatments.com. For every $250 order, you'll get a free Vitamask. And then also we've got our Perfect Pair special running indefinitely. When you purchase a Truth Transdermal C Serum trial size, we'll throw in a Truth Biomimetic Mineral Mist for free. The specials and all the Truth Treatment products can be found at truthtreatments.com, truthtreatments.com. And don't forget to take a look at truthnourishment.com for various and sundry nutritional supplements. Thank you to Robert Lundgren for setting that up for me. Okay, welcome back to The Bright Side. I read an interesting article this morning, and I was thinking that it related to the stuff we've been talking about here for the last few days about estrogen and inflammation. We've been talking about how estrogen, the supposed female hormone, in reality a growth-inducing substance that plays a major role in inflammation. We were talking about how this hormone estrogen is involved in so many different aspects of ill health, of disease. It is a very tricky hormone. This is why I have a big problem with hormone replacement therapy. Estrogen in particular. If you look at how hormones are broken down, or they're produced in the body, it all starts with cholesterol, the steroid hormones, that is. I should clarify. The steroid hormones are all derived from cholesterol. Cholesterol is then broken down, or not broken down, but tweaked. Remember, all chemistry is about tinker toys, and so there's a little tweak, a little tinker toy tweak on the cholesterol, and bingo, you got progesterone, and another little tweak, and you got pregnenolone, and another little tweak, and you got DHEA, and another little tweak, and you got cortisol, and testosterone, and all the various androstenedione, and androstone, and all these different forms of male hormone, and then that all gets turned into estrogen, and there's many different kinds of estrogen as well. The point I want to make is, at the end, you got estrogen. Estrogen is the most fully shaped or refined form of cholesterol of all the steroid hormones, and that makes it extremely powerful. It has no more refining that it can do. It has to be eliminated at that point. All the other hormones can get refined. At the top of the scheme, where cholesterol gets turned into progesterone and pregnenolone and DHEA, you don't have any toxicity, because the body can convert those really quickly. But then you get into estrogen, and it has to be eliminated. It doesn't get converted after that. And that makes it really tricky, really powerful, and just playing with fire if you're trying to take it as a drug. It really is crazy from a biochemical. There's so many crazy things we do from a biochemistry standpoint. From a clinical chemistry standpoint, they don't seem as crazy because you got measurements, and they're only looking at one measurement. Clinical chemistry is about measurements and diagnostics and test scores, etc. And you just target estrogen, or when they determine how to dose you with estrogen, they just target how much estrogen you're making. Or they'll target a specific symptom like bone loss. But it doesn't really take into account what estrogen is. It's a very powerful substance that can have toxic effects, including cancer. Why is it that estrogen causes cancer, by the way? It's on the FDA's known to cause cancer list. What is it about estrogen that's carcinogenic? It's a growth substance. It revs things up. It's a rev things up substance. It's a pro-inflammatory substance. It's a pro-immune substance. It activates the immune system. It activates inflammation. And the problem with estrogen is why we have a gender discrepancy when it comes to disease. Women are far more likely to suffer from autoimmunity. Women are far more likely to suffer from fibromyalgia, and depression, and hypothyroidism, and other chronic diseases. According to a March 2007 article in the Journal of Health, Population, and Nutrition, quote, women have significantly higher rates of arthritis, osteoporosis, diabetes, and hypertension than men, unquote. Quote, continuing here, that women reported more health problems than men regardless of economic status. This is March 2007, Journal of Health, Population, and Nutrition. Estrogen is also linked to fat metabolism and fat processing and fat absorption. And this is another major misunderstanding. Fats, when it comes to health and nutrition. Last week there was an article published in the journal Cell Metabolism. It talked about a study from Yale that showed that high-fat diets contribute to, quote, irregularities in the hypothalamus region of the brain. That is the part of the brain that regulates weight control, weight gain and loss and metabolism, etc. Hypothalamus is where your appetites and thirst centers are located. It tells you to eat or tells you to drink, tells you to not eat, tells you to not drink. Regulates all kinds of systems in the body that aren't in our conscious control, like temperature regulation. Anyway, researchers found that animals fed high-fat diets developed a brain inflammation in the specific area of the hypothalamus that control obesity and eating behavior. And this, according to researchers, made high-fat diets act as a inflammatory stimulus. So they claim here that eating a high-fat diet is pro-inflammatory. Now, the problem with the study is it's not so much. When we talk about high fat, we talk about high percentage of fat. The idea that the ketogenic diet or eating a high percentage of calories from fat is problematic is not what this is about. This is about high fat diets, and it's true. If you eat a high calorie, high fat diet, that's not a good thing. You don't want to be putting lots of energy into the body, which fat is very high energy, unless you're using the energy. That's the problem. We are revving up our body systems. We're revving up cell division. We're putting the body into overdrive. That generally speaking is what's happening with stress, with estrogen, with sugar, with the immune system. We're revving up the body. The body wants to run slowly and powerfully, not super fast. Animals that have super fast metabolisms, like mice, don't live very long. You want to calm the body down. Calories rev things up. Fat revs things up. Sugar revs things up. Estrogen revs things up. That's why breathing is so important. SDR breathing, slow, deep, rhythmic breathing, calms things down. There's also a major relationship between estrogen and the thyroid. Estrogen and fat absorption of the thyroid, and blood sugar for that matter. Estrogen, fat absorption, the thyroid, and blood sugar. Those are 4 key points that you can focus on. And of course, estrogen and fat absorption involve the digestive system. So there's your triangle of disease. Those are the points you want to focus on if you're dealing with health challenges that are chronic and inflammatory. Estrogen, fat absorption, the thyroid, and blood sugar. All right, I'm Pharmacist Ben. 844-236-6010 is our number. back on the bright side. I'm Pharmacist Ben, 844-236. 6010 is our number. We've got lines open, 844-236-6010. If you want to purchase longevity products, call 866-735-2470 or head to our websites, brightsideben.com, pharmacistben.com, or criticalhealthnews.com. You can purchase products off the website, and we also have videos and blog posts and news stories and all kinds of good free information, as well as the longevity products at brightsideben.com, pharmacistben.com, and criticalhealthnews.com, and also truthtreatments.com and truthnourishment.com for our skin health products and our nutritional products. Truthtreatments.com and truthnourishment.com. Okay, so there's a major relationship between estrogen, fat absorption, and the thyroid and the blood sugar system. That's basically the triangle of disease. It all starts with the digestive system, and don't underappreciate the digestive system. I know sometimes I get sick of hearing it myself when I'm talking about it, but you can't get around it. Leaky gut, SIBO, the entrance of toxicity in the blood, toxemia, toxic blood, dirty blood as I call it. Dirty blood. Digestive issues and blood sugar issues, they're both kind of similar because blood sugar is affected by the digestive system. We eat our sugar for a lot of it. Some of it comes out of the liver, but a lot of it is from our food. Between the digestive system and the blood sugar system, that's where you run into your toxemia problem. Toxemia affects how estrogen is handled. Also, the digestive system affects how estrogen is handled. And this is why there's such a discrepancy, a gender discrepancy when it comes to diseases. This estrogen-fat connection is a major, major key. Estrogen and fat. There's a syndrome that I have observed in women that involves problems with weight, sluggishness, hair loss, skin issues, and particularly dry skin, dry and oily skin. Dry and oily, by the way. I call that thyroid acne. Skin can be both dry and oily. This is kind of confusing for a lot of folks, that skin can be dry and oily. And it represents kind of a major disconnect in our understanding in how we take care of our skin compared to as opposed to what the skin really needs and what the skin really is. Here's the deal. Dryness is a water problem, and oiliness is a function of hormones. Stress hormones, thyroid hormone, insulin. Now, everything ultimately is hormones, but when we feel our skin is dry, when we say our skin is dry, it's the very tippy top that's dry. It's the so-called stratum corneum, the barrier that's dry. It's not plastic, and it feels kind of uncomfortable, and it looks a little unattractive. And it has nothing to do with drinking water, by the way. It's caused by a sluggishness. Dry skin is a sign that there's a kind of sluggishness going on in the skin. When the skin is nice and youthful and soft and moist, things are happening at just the right pace. As we get older, things kind of get sluggish. Fluids don't move as effectively. It's kind of weird because in a lot of ways our body's revved up, it's hyped up, but in other ways the body is also sluggish. The fluid isn't moving. Inflammation is blocking things. The inflammation causes a breakdown in tissue architecture. It causes a disruption in cell chemistry. There's a lot of cell chemistry that has to happen for skin to not be dry. For skin, if you have a dry skin, you have a chemistry problem. You have a biochemistry problem. We don't think of the skin as, we say it's an organ. We call it the body's largest organ, but we don't really think of it like an organ. So we just think it's okay. We get dry skin, we rub something on the surface of the skin. The cause of dry skin, the cause of any skin problem is chemistry, just like the cause of any biological problem, chronic biological problem, or internal problem is chemistry. Liver problem, you got a liver problem, you got a chemistry problem. You got an intestinal problem, you got a chemistry problem. It's all chemistry. So the idea of just treating the skin superficially with moisturization, so-called moisturization, which is where you rub a cream on your skin, which is not moisture, but basically fat, maybe a little bit of water, it's so simple-minded. It is so naive. It is so unscientific. Using a moisturizer is very unscientific. It represents an old, just primitive idea of what the skin is from the days of Helena Rubinstein in the 19th century. If you have dry skin, you've got a health problem, you've got a chemistry problem, and you've got a health problem. And that's how we have to regard skin issues. We've got to regard skin issues as health problems. Not that you want to, I'm not trying to be super dramatic. It's not a major health problem, but it's indicative of, it could be a major health problem, and it can be indicative of a major health problem. It's not necessarily a major health problem by itself, but it could be indicative of one. It could be indicative of a lack of nutrition. It could be indicative of a problem producing fats. And that's how we want to regard these things, I think, as a skincare professional, and I've been in the skin business for 35 years. As a skincare professional, a healthcare professional, I think it's critical to address the skin as an organ that needs nutrition as much as any other system of the body. That's why I created True Skin Health products, by the way, because my True Skin Health products are topical nutrition. There's a couple ways, not a lot, but there's a couple ways that you can address nutritional and health issues on the skin topically. Vitamin C, vitamin A, alpha hydroxy acids, polyelectrolytes. These are all things that I use in my True Skin Health products. The reason I use them is because I think we got to be addressing the health of the skin. Where's your moisturizer, Ben? Where's your eye cream? I don't have a moisturizer. I don't have an eye cream. No moisturizer because I don't even know what the heck moisturizer means. It's a silly word and a silly skincare procedure or skincare solution. Do you know? Well, you probably know if you've listened to this program because I say it all the time. I've said it a lot. The dumbest thing you could put on your dry skin is a moisturizer. Because when you put a moisturizer on, you shut down your skin's natural moisture factors. I've never used a moisturizer in my life. I don't have dry skin. You don't need, when I do a talk, I say how many people have dry skin. Everybody raises their hand. But we sell almost $200 million a year in moisturizers in this country because they don't work and they suppress moisture factors. They make things worse. So then you got oily skin. Oily skin is a whole other thing. Actually, you know what? There's two kinds of dry skin, I should tell you. There is the kind of dry skin that we see. That's the surface dry skin, and it's the kind we feel. It's unattractive. There may be some white specks on the skin. Ashiness on the skin. That ashiness, by the way, is caused by cells that are not dropping off. They're just accumulating. Same idea as dandruff. But there's another kind of dehydration. There's a stratum corneum, the surface dehydration, but there's another kind of dehydration that's even more important. You can't see that. That's the dehydration that's lower. That's the dehydration that's in the connective tissue, in the dermis. That's the dehydration that's going to lead to thinning skin. That's the dehydration that leads to aging skin, wrinkly skin. And that kind of dehydration in the lower levels of the skin, that can lead to an unhealthy surface too, an unhealthy epidermis, an unhealthy barrier. So it's kind of connected. It's making a distinction here, but everything's kind of connected. So dermal dehydration, you don't see that, but that's the part that's associated with aging. Now, oiliness is, that's a whole nother issue. Oiliness is about male hormones, it's about insulin, and it is about stress hormone. It's especially about cortisol, oily skin. Cortisol, male hormones, and blood sugar, insulin. All right, I'm Pharmacist Ben. 844-236-6010 is our number. We'll be back on the bright side right after this. Okay, we are back on the bright side. 844-236-6010 is our number. 844-236-6010. Got lines open for you. If you have questions about the longevity products, longevity business, health challenges you or a loved one may be dealing with, if you have a comment or success story you'd like to share, 844-236-6010 is our number. We'll get your phone calls here momentarily. World's largest evidence review, nutritional supplements for mental health from Western Sydney University. A team of scientists led by Sydney's NICM Health Research Institute at Western Sydney University examined the best of the best evidence, available evidence. The aim was to provide a clear overview of the benefit of specific nutrient supplements, including dosage, target, symptoms, safety, and tolerability for different mental disorders. Guess what they found? Omega-3 supplements Strongest evidence was found for omega-3 supplements as an add-on for major depression, reducing symptoms of depression. Get this, beyond the effects of antidepressants. There was also some evidence that omega-3 supplements can also have small benefits for ADHD. Omega-3 supplements, by the way, are found in your Ultimate EFAs from Longevity. Omega-3 supplements include both fish oil and flax oil. Some people will say, oh, I just take the seed oils, flax oil, hemp seed oil, chia oil. Some people say, oh, I take fish oils. You need them both. They're both important, and they're both important for the brain health. They're important for the health of babies. They're important for the health of fetuses. They're important for the health of for patients who have Alzheimer's or dementia issues, for memory issues, and for ADHD and for depression. Guess what? There was emerging evidence for the amino acid N-acetylcysteine as a useful adjunctive treatment in mood disorders and schizophrenia. Where have you heard that before? This is the only program where you're going to hear about NAC for addiction, for schizophrenia, for mood disorders, not to mention for liver health issues and for skin health issues. I've been loving NAC for a long time. I use NAC in my blemish repair complex. Special types of folate supplements may be effective as add-on treatments for major depression and schizophrenia. Interestingly, folic acid was ineffective. And then finally, they had to throw this in. There is currently a lack of compelling evidence supporting the use of vitamins, such as E, C, or D, and minerals, zinc and magnesium, for any mental disorder. Well, hogwash, I say. The brain is using nutrition faster than any other system of the body. If you got a brain health issue or a mental health issue, you got a nutritional health issue, and supplements can definitely help. I cannot believe they didn't use the B complex here. The B complex is amazingly important for mental health issues. The B complex is so underappreciated. Here's something about the B complex that nobody talks about. And by the way, your Beyond Tangy Tangerine is a very rich source of the B complex, one of the best nutritional supplemental sources of B complex. Veggies are a great source of B complex. Organ meats are a great source of B complex. What we don't hear about with the B complex is the more water you're drinking, the more B complex you need. And many people are drinking multiple bottles of water a day. Nobody really knows how much water you're supposed to be drinking. There's all kinds of various rules of thumb. Basically, your thirst is a good indicator, and that's how biology intended it. But the more water you drink, the more you're going to lose your water-soluble vitamins, the more you're going to lose your B complex, the more you're going to lose your vitamin C, the more you're going to lose your potassium, the more you're going to lose your sodium and chloride and magnesium and other electrolytes. This is why Beyond Tangy Tangerine is so ideal. This is why a lot of people notice such dramatic results from the Beyond Tangy Tangerines, because most people are drinking so much water and they're not supplementing, and you start putting supplements in the body's like, yippee, I finally got some B complex in a dense, concentrated form. By the way, at the end of this article, they say, quote, the role of the gut microbiome in mental health is a rapidly emerging field of research. However, more research is needed into the role of, get this, psychobiotics, they call them. Psychobiotics. You got antibiotics, probiotics, and now you got psychobiotics. Psychobiotics meaning these living entities, these living creatures, bacteria, that can somehow affect how we think and affect how we eat and how we feel as well. This is from the journal World Psychiatry, the efficacy and safety of nutrient supplements in the treatment of mental disorders. All right, 844-236-6010 is our number. See if I want to do one more here. Okay, we'll get to the phones. Looks like we got somebody wants to talk to us. What's going on? Whoever you are. I don't have a name associated with your... Hi. Who is this?
Hello.
No way? Hey, what's going on, man? I don't have your name.
Hello.
Hello.
Yeah, this is Barry.
Hey, Barry, what's up, man?
Oh, all right. I had lost my connection. Well, anyway, I wanted to ask you about wheat. If there's been a problem with wheat, causing leaky gut and things like this, if people have been eating wheat for thousands of years, what's where's the problem came from? Because I've been
nobody really knows, but some people say glyphosate. Some people I've heard pesticides, and glyphosate changes the characteristics of the wheat. That's one hypothesis. I don't think anybody. These are all hypotheses, and then also. If there's different forms of wheat, farmers are always adjusting and breeding and selecting and doing all kinds of genetic manipulation, not necessarily GMO, but just breeding techniques. So we're eating a different kind of grain today. Then there is the general nutritional deficiencies that we're suffering that we may not have had way back when. I mean, there's a lot of reasons. You hear that sometimes people will say things like, my grandfather smoked a pack of cigarettes a day. He ate all kinds of bacon and lard, but he never got heart disease, never got sick. He lived to be 90. It was a different way of life. You can't really compare how people lived in the past. And by past, I mean 100 years ago. It wasn't that long ago. The past was not that long ago. From a biological perspective, an evolutionary perspective, the past is about 100 years because we've tweaked our environment so dramatically and our food system so dramatically. So you can't really compare. But if you wanted to, it could have something to do with glyphosate. It could have something to do with a different type of wheat. I'm not really sure what the answer to that question is, but I can tell you it is definitely a problem. And while it may not be a problem for everybody, it's a problem for a lot of people and maybe even most people. And also, Barry, it's not just wheat. It's all grains, because grains at the end of the day are seeds. And seeds are very medicinal, we'll say, or powerful, we'll say. Nature has done some very interesting things to seeds to keep animals from eating them. And not only that, but the seeds themselves contain sleepy time chemicals, because a seed is dormant. A seed is a life that's being kept in suspended animation. And this livingness, this living entity that's kept in suspended animation in a seed is kept in this suspended animation state, this sort of dormant state, not alive, not dead, sleeping, hibernating state, by chemicals called inhibitors. And those inhibitors are very problematic for animals that eat them. Hang on, Barry, we'll finish up when we come back from our break. I'm Pharmacist Ben. You're listening to The Bright Side. 844-236-6010 is our number. We'll be back. Okay, we are back on The Bright Side. I'm Pharmacist Ben, talking to Barry in New Orleans about wheat and about seeds. So, what were you thinking, Barry? Had you heard about that, about the glyphosate issue?
Yeah, because I was looking at that and I was curious because that's what one person hypothesized, that it was the Roundup that was being put on the wheat.
I've heard that. And then also, the modern steel roller, which is how they mill grains, it was faster. Obviously, it's modern and it's high tech, but it also crushes things up and purifies things a little bit more effectively. And so, over the last, and that was about like the late 1800s when that came out. So, over the last 100 years or so, we have done such dramatic things with our flour and with our grains and with our food. And it's to the point where it's pretty much impossible to get any food at the grocery store that existed 100 years ago. That's how dramatically our food stuffs have changed. So you can't really make these kinds of comparisons. But I'm sure the glyphosate doesn't help. The high-tech wheat milling methods don't help. The general nutritional deficiencies that we suffer from don't help. The antibiotics in the water don't help. The antibiotics that we're taking intentionally or give to our animals intentionally don't help. I mean, we have just done such a number on our health from a cultural and societal standpoint out of pure ignorance. It's just crazy. We've done it in a negative sense by taking things out of the diet, and in a positive sense by putting stuff in that shouldn't be in, including glyphosate and drugs. Sometimes I wonder how many people are taking their drugs, they die of a heart attack, their death certificate says heart attack, and it was the prescription drugs. Or people suffer from disease states that are caused by nutritional deficiencies that are caused by prescription drugs. I mean, there's so many ways that we have mucked up our health. It's hard to isolate things. And not only is it hard to isolate specific causes, it's hard to have 100% control over everything. I mean, we all have to drink the water. There's fluoride in the water. I mean, look at all the crazy things we do. Fluoride in the water. That's another absolutely insane health strategy. There were a couple studies that showed that people who drank some extra fluoride had stronger teeth, but for the most part, fluoride is a toxin. It's deadly. And you can't be healthier by putting a deadly toxin in your body. A study just came out in the Journal of Pediatrics a week ago, I think, end of last month, about this is a Canadian study that found a high fluoride exposure during pregnancy was correlated with lower IQ scores among young children, especially boys. How long have we been saying this? How long have we been calling fluoride a dumbing agent? You know, I mean, it's crazy. So you need studies to talk about these things? Fluoride's a toxin. Fluoride is a highly reactive element. And it's found in nature in really small quantities. It's found in the earth. It's the 13th most abundant element in the earth, but it's found in plants. It's found in plants in very low concentrations. You know why? Because it's toxic to plants. Fluoride kills plants. Fluoride's pesticide. We put it in the water. Anyway, I don't mean to go off on a rant there, Barry. Did I answer your question?
Yes. And also, I'd like to ask you, what causes cell toxicity? Is it mainly things we eat, or is it?
Good question. What causes cell toxicity is largely a problem eliminating cellular wastes. This is one of the major causes, not just of disease, but of the aging process. The cell has a waste control system. It has an incinerator system. It has a furnace for incineration of waste materials. If a cell's working, and in the process of working, it produces wastes, a lot of acidic wastes and other wastes. And these wastes get incinerated, and cell parts are constantly being replaced. And so parts are breaking down, and those are being replaced and incinerated. And the incineration, it's not really, well, I guess it's a type of chemical burning. It's made in there's actually a little structure inside a cell called a lysozyme. You may have heard of that. And this lysozyme is responsible for, lysosome. It makes lysozymes. And this lysozymes, an enzyme, breaks up waste. When the wastes are not broken up efficiently, they accumulate. This is where much of the cell toxicity occurs. But sugar represents a major cellular toxin, particularly on the outside part of the cell. And then, of course, drugs. And when I say drugs, I'm including all the drugs we eat that aren't necessarily called drugs, such as food chemicals, flavor chemicals. You know, the drug industry and the food industry are in bed together, and they're connected at the point of chemistry, of molecules. The food industry uses drug-like molecules to entice us to eat. They call them flavoring agents, but they're very similar to drugs. And drugs work, to drug the body. So between drugs and and sugar and food toxins and cellular waste, that's where most cell toxicity occurs from. Sugar, I think I said sugar, is included there too. That's where most that's where most cell toxicity occurs from.
Okay, when you say sugar,
high blood sugar.
Say that once more.
High blood sugar is what I'm talking about. High blood sugar. Elevations in blood sugar can cause destruction of the cell through a mechanism called glycation. Mm-hmm. The sugar is, from a molecular standpoint, glucose, is very, very explosive. It burns. It reacts, we'll say, because explosions aren't. That's what happens in a big macroscopic sense. But in a small sense, it reacts. Sugar reacts with cells in this glycation kind of reaction. Glycation is the reaction that sugar has with glucose has with proteins and with fats, and the cell is coated with proteins and fats. I was just looking at a video a couple of days ago about this thing called sugaring. I bet you don't know what sugaring is because it's a kind of cosmetic thing, but women do it to remove hair from their arms. They'll put a coating of sugar on your arms, and then they peel the sugar. Hot sugar, melted sugar, not hot, but melted sugar. And then they rip off the sugar, and the sugar rips off your hair, and you get rid of your hair. It's called sugaring. And the reason sugaring works is because sugar is very reactive. Sugar reacts with things. It sticks to things. That's why it's so sticky. That stickiness is a reaction, and that's kind of what's happening with the cells. It's called glycation. It's a major cause of amputation. It's a major cause of blindness, and it's a major cause of aging. And that's what I mean by sugar toxicity, glycation reactions. That's why sugar has to get stored in fat. The body has to stash it away. And that's why we get fat. But not all of it gets stashed away, and as we eat more and more sugar, this glycation reaction occurs more and more frequently. Glycation also happens with when you brown meats. Sugars in the meats can get browned, can get glycated as well. Glycated food is, we all like our food to be kind of crispy and glycated actually, but it's really not good for you. And eating glycated food is another issue. Cigarette smokers also, there's a connection between cigarette smoking. It's not exactly glycation, but it tends towards glycation. So cigarette smoke, that's why you'll notice cigarette smokers have thinner skin and more wrinkles. Like wrinkles and thin skin are also a sign of glycation. What else you got for us, Barry? How you doing today? Anything going on? Anything you want to share?
Yeah,
you're my only caller. What's that?
Yes, I'm doing all right. Yeah. Back to the sugar, because when these books say sugar, they mean all forms of sugar, fructose, fruits, and everything.
Yeah, all forms of sugar can do it. I mean, we don't need a lot of sugar. You don't need a lot of sugar. We get way too much. Yes, all forms of sugar can do it. Absolutely. Glucose and fructose are the big ones that we get through our diet, but basically it's glucose and fructose, I think. There's galactose and arabinose, and there's all these different oses. OSE means sugar, ose. But glucose and fructose are the biggies. And I know there's a lot of folks who feel like fructose, fruit sugar, is somehow better for you. And it may be, because when you get fruits, the kind of sugar that you get from fruits is somewhat protected. But still, our fruits today there's music already. Our fruits today are bred to be super duper sweet. And so you get it's a little bit out of balance. But fruits tend to be protected because you get the fiber, magnesium, and other nutrients, assuming that the fruit has got the nutrition it's supposed to have. Barry, that's it. I'm out of time, my friend. Thanks for your call. Appreciate it. Always like talking to you, Barry. So thank you. Appreciate your input and your insights, and that's all the time we have for today. On the bright side, I'm Pharmacist Ben, 844-735-2470. 866-735-2470 is the phone number for the Bright Side Ben team. If you want to sign up to join the Bright Side Ben team or purchase longevity products, if you want to purchase any of our Truth Skin Health products, go to truthtreatments.com, and then for our nutritional products, truthnourishment.com. I'm Pharmacist Ben. Thanks for listening to The Bright Side. Have yourselves a wonderful, beautiful, awesome, spectacular day. We'll talk to you all later. Bye for now.